Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing the 2019 end of year reading survey. So I will link my 2018 video down below, as well as all of the questions and the original creator of this tag. And there are 23 questions, so I'm just going to get started. So question number 1, how many books did you read? I read 295 books. Question 2, did you meet your goal? Yes. Technically, my goal was 100 books, but I was aiming for 300. Technically, I hit my goal, but I did have kind of another goal that I didn't really hit, but I still feel like I did pretty good. Number 3, most read genre, definitely romance. But if I were to have like a subgenre of that, it would probably be dark romance. Number 4, longest and shortest book you read. The longest book I read was a reread, and that was After We Fell by Anna Todd, which is the 3rd book in the After series. And this had around 848 pages. And the shortest book I read was Ice Ice Babies by Ruby Dixon, which is a novella in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. And this has around 46 pages. Number 5, favorite book published in 2019. I am going to quickly mention a few because I can't pick one just for this question. And I will have my favorite books of the year video coming very, very soon, I promise. So these are just a few of my favorites for 2019. I have Twisted Emotions by Cora Riley, Beard Necessities by Penny Reed, The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, and Tinsel by Daphne Perry. So these are just a few of my favorite books of 2019. Question 6, favorite debut book in 2019. For this, I'm going to go with The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I just really, really loved this book. I loved the characters, I loved the romance. It was emotional and sweet and sometimes funny. It was just overall a really, really good book, and I know some people had mixed feelings about this book, but I genuinely really loved it, and it was, again, one of my favorite books of the year. Number 7, favorite book not published in 2018. For this, I'm going to go with Crave by Adriana Locke. This is book 3 in the Gibson Boys series, and this is my favorite in the series. This one I absolutely loved. It is a hate to love / second chance romance in a small town, and I just really loved the characters. I loved the romance. I loved everything about this book. It was so emotional. There was a lot of back and forth, but it was such a passionate book. I just really, really loved it. Number 8, a book that lived up to the hype. I'm going to go with Culty by Mariana Zapata. I know everybody raves about her books. I've heard probably the most good things about Culty, and this was my first book by her, and I absolutely loved it. I totally understood what people were saying about this book and just how good it was, and the writing and the characters and the romance, and how not necessarily angsty, but how slow burn it was, and I finally understand all the hype, and I totally agree with it. It is just a fantastic book. Question 9, a book that did not live up to the hype. For this, I'm going to go with The Prenup by Lauren Lane. I didn't hear a lot of people talking about this. I read a lot of the reviews, and a lot of them gave it like 5 stars, and I love Lauren Lane. I've read pretty much all of her books, so I expected to love this one. I mean, a lot of people were saying that it was like her best book, so I was really excited to read this because I thought it would be like the first Lauren Lane I would ever give 5 stars, and it just really didn't do for me. I ended up giving it like 3 stars. I didn't really believe that the characters were in love, and I just feel like there wasn't much of a romance, if that makes sense. This was more of like just a disappointing read, or just a read that didn't live up to my own hype, if that makes sense. Number 10, a book that felt like the biggest accomplishment. I have 2 answers for this. The first one I'm going to go with is Sweet Bitter by Stephanie Danler. This I had on my shelves for, I want to say like 3-4 years, and I finally read it in 2019, and I didn't get it. It just wasn't my type of thing. I think I still gave it 3 stars because there were parts of it I liked. I liked the whole New York aspect, and I liked the whole like restaurant, aspect of it, but I really didn't like any of the characters, and the romance was just not good at all. I guess maybe that's the point, but it felt like a big accomplishment because I had it on my shelves for years, and I finally read it, and it was alright, I guess. Another biggest accomplishment for me was binging the entire Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon. There is like over 20 books in the series, and even though they're all pretty short, there's just a lot of them, and I managed to binge them all in like 1 month, and I absolutely love them. I devoured them. I thought they were fun and funny and just super lighthearted, and I had a really fun time reading these books. I can't remember the last time I had that much fun reading them, so it was definitely a big accomplishment for me, and I really love this series. Number 11, favorite character. This was really hard for me to think of, but I think I'm gonna go with Kiara. I think it's Kiara. I could be saying it wrong. From Twisted Emotions by Cora Riley. I just really loved her. I thought she had a beautiful character development, and she continues to have a development throughout the series. I just really liked reading about her and her journey, and I just thought she was a fantastic character. Number 12, least favorite character. For this one, I actually don't have an answer. I really couldn't think of a character that I didn't like. The only one that can really come to mind for me is the villain in Stolen Lies or Hidden Truths by Kay Webster and Nikki Ash. I can't remember his name, but I hated the brother in that duology, so I guess he's my least favorite character. But other than that, like, I really couldn't think of a character I hated this year. 13, most shocking book/moment. For this I have 2 answers. The first one is Moonlight Scandals by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is book 3 in the De Vincent trilogy. I didn't see the twist coming at all. I feel like now if I reread it, maybe I would see it, but for some reason I didn't see the twist coming, so it definitely shocked me. This whole series follows a mystery around these 3 brothers. It's kind of got some paranormal themes. I really enjoyed this trilogy, and this book was definitely a great finale, and it definitely shocked me. And the other one is The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. There were some twists in here that I didn't see coming either. I think maybe because it had been a really long time since I read kind of like a thriller slash sci-fi novel, so everything just kind of shocked me a little bit, but I really enjoyed this book, and I thought it was really, really well done. Number 14, favorite couple slash OTP. For this, I'm going to go with Billy and Scarlett slash Claire. I love them so much. I loved finding out exactly what happened and them reuniting, and it was just so nice to see their story and them finally getting their happy ending. I just really loved this book, and I really love them, and they were definitely my favorite couple of the year. Question 15. The best written book you read in 2019. For this, I'm going to go with Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This book was so beautiful. I loved the writing. I loved the characters. I absolutely loved the romance. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful book, and I really loved it. And as I said, the writing was just phenomenal. 16. A book that you pushed the most people to read in 2019. I was really trying to think of an answer for this question, but I don't really think I have one. I would say maybe any book by Cora Riley I pushed this year, probably. I feel like I talked about these the most in 2018. I don't think there was a specific book that I pushed. Let me know if there was a book that I convinced you to read in 2018 or that you felt like I talked a lot about. Alright, I had to change my battery. What's new? Question number 17. Favorite book cover of the year. For this, I'm going to go with My Life in Shambles by Karina Halley. I absolutely love this cover. I just think it's so pretty. I love the colors. I just feel like they go really well together, and I just really love this cover. Number 18, favorite adaptation. Obviously, I'm going to go with After. I absolutely loved it. I've made countless videos on After and the movie and everything like that, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it is very different from the book, but I love both of them, and I can separate both of them. I think I don't know, I just really, really loved it. I can't really explain why. Honestly, I just really loved it. And I also really did love Driven on Passionflix. That was a fantastic adaptation as well. Number 19, what book made you cry the most? I have two answers and they are by the same author. So that is Landon and Shay. Part 1 probably made me cry more than part 2, but I cried a lot while reading that, and I also cried a lot while reading Eleanor and Gray by Brittany C. Cherry as well. Number 20, what book made you laugh the most? I guess I could say the Ice Planet Barbarian series because there was a lot of funny moments in those books, especially in the first few books. But I'm going to go with Man Hands by Serena Bowen and Tanya Ebi. This was just really funny and fun, and I didn't expect to actually laugh that much, but I definitely did. This was just like a really lighthearted, fun read, and the rest of the books in the series are pretty funny as well. 21, a new favorite author you discovered this year. I feel like there were so many authors that I finally read in 2019. So Cora Riley, obviously, Megan Quinn, K.A. Tucker, Mia Sheridan, Brittany C. Cherry. I feel like those are some of my new favorite authors. 22, guilty pleasure read of the year. I have two answers for this one. I have The Bad Guy by Celia Aaron and Untouchable by Sam Mariano. I feel like these were two guilty pleasure reads. I would say more this one because it's not a good book, but I still really loved it. The Bad Guy is basically about a sociopath who kidnaps a girl and tries to make her fall in love with him. It is pretty dark, pretty twisted. I really liked it. I don't know. And Untouchable is a bully, enemies to lovers, intense, dramatic romance. It is pretty dark, I would say. I guess it is. It does say dark here. So it is a pretty dark romance. The first couple of chapters, there is a described sexual assault. Our hero sexually assaults our heroine, and I can see why people would read that and then DNF it because it is gross. Like, I consider DNFing it, but I was like, I want to give it more of a shot. So I got past those couple of chapters and I just loved it. I feel like those first chapters were definitely like written out of nowhere. I just really love this book. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. I know it was gross and I know that it's problematic. I don't know. I enjoyed them, so. And the last question is favorite book you reread this year. I'm going to go with the After series by Anna Todd. I reread the entire series this year. It had been several years since I've read it, so I finally got around to rereading it for the movie, and I absolutely loved it. Fell back in love with this series, and it was just really fun and emotional rereading this series. So that is it for my 2019 end of year reading survey. Let me know some of your answers to these questions down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!